Road Break family, how are you this Friday evening? Welcome to another episode of the original Road Break. Jean Paul Egg and myself, ready to talk about this whole week in wrestling. We just watched SmackDown. I was always like the Friday night show, but we're going to be talking about everything that happened on Monday Night Raw, going to AEW, the weekend news, and we're going to end up with a SmackDown because there was a lot of like newsworthy things that we're going to be talking about. Paul, this week not a lot of like great like news, not a lot of big headlines, but a lot of things that like, we're going to talk about. Like for example, like the new way of the tag team championships was leaked. We have the picture for it, like the new logo and everything. And Monday Night Raw. This is very steady. It's not getting like back in the ways of Vince McMahon. So how are you doing? And let's talk. Let's start about Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing good, and like you said, I feel everybody is still just recovering from the whole CM Punk versus the Elite fight and everything, and before the first appearance from really anybody involved, mentioning here Kenny Omega was at Sega in Japan. Everybody's thinking, oh my God, what's he doing? Does it have to do with the AEW game? What's going on? He said it was something with Yakuza. So he was scanned into that game. So it has nothing to do with the AEW game. I don't think he's doing anything AEW related right now with being suspended. But, I think everybody is just, that was really the big news thing. Everybody is just kind of waiting to hear from that. But like you said, this week, Monday Night Raw, we got a little bit of newsworthy stuff coming out of here. New tag team champions, some new matchups announced and stuff. And Triple H, I feel, is still just he's piloting the ship, steady on the course.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Like, he used to be like a friend of the house. Pato.
Here we go, Pato. Sí,
Pato. Pato, ¿cómo te va? Un saludo desde aquí, desde Original Road Break. Te queremos, un fuerte abrazo para ti y saludos para Jean Paul. That's what he says. Greetings to Jean Paul and all of that stuff. So, very cool to see him. Hope you're doing well. Gracias por todo, Pato, por todo el apoyo que nos das. So Jean Paul, like you said, let's talk about like Monday Night Raw because it's important. Like, not a show like again, it's not newsworthy like everything that is happening, but there's a lot of cool things that this show is happening. And the best thing that like started, it was like we have brand new tag team champions on the women's side, Io Sky and Dakota Kai. We said this like last week. Remember when we did a show that like these two girls were gonna get the championships because Damage Control, they need to have goal to do what? To be legit, to be legitimized, to like, to be a group that like is actually good, right?
Yeah, and this was a good matchup. I like the tag team champions. I like them as a team, but I really like Damage Control. All three of those women are good. You needed to get this group over. This was part one. We're going to talk about part two when we talk about SmackDown in a little bit, but this was good. Legitimize this group, solidify them as, the top, women's group, and just almost you could even, because Becky Lynch ain't there. Bailey, she already beat Bianca Belair, or, she pinned her in a matchup. Solidify these women as the top women in all of, WWE. So, this was good win here. And then we saw announced for SmackDown, it was going to be Bailey versus
Raquel Gonzalez or Raquel Rodriguez, like the ones that like you guys know, like, so I think that like the match that they had with like the frame, like the other champions, like the previous ones, it was cool. Aaliyah and Raquel, like I feel that like again, Raquel, like they don't really have a lot of faith in her for some reason, but it's always cool that like they had a good match. But again, I feel that like the main group, like what they're trying to do, it was just always Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Like I gotta go Io Shirai. I want to say Io Shirai for some reason. But like good match, and after that post match we saw Alexa Bliss, we saw Asuka, so maybe that's going to be the next feud for them. A lot of people are saying we want to see the singles match, Asuka against Io Sky. That will be really good. And before Paul, you get the floor, don't forget to like Pato did family, subscribe, put your comments, let us know what you guys feel about this week in wrestling. Like right there, right, you can see like behind Paul like all the toy collection. Ask him, what you have, what do you like. Paul has a great collection right there. So you think that like that will be the next evolution or the next feud for like the new tag team champions, don't you think? Asuka and Alexa Bliss, not a great team.
I mean, they have
the first feud.
Yeah, I mean, they're on Monday Night Raw. You see them on SmackDown. We're gonna talk about, like I said, what happened on SmackDown. So there's lots of stuff you can really do here again with this team. Lots of stuff, and people for them to feud with. I don't know. I don't think the fans are really behind Alexa Bliss, and I think they want to see Asuka more serious like she was in NXT. So, Maybe if they beat that team, they'll split them up, and Asuka can go back in the singles division. Like you said, a feud with Io, even just a singles feud with Bayley, something again, I think would be good. But, we just got to wait and see. I do have faith in Triple H. So like you said, he's not flipping everything, making it all legit in 1 week. You can't, and he's not the best booker. He doesn't do everything perfect, but he's slowly, I think, putting things in the right direction.
It is, like you said, I feel that like Triple H is gonna is this gonna take a little bit of time, but the first steps are given. The first step was make sense, the booking. Everybody's actually excited about professional wrestling. We haven't seen this level of excitement in such a long time. That was cool. Another thing that it was important from the show, Paul, the debut of Johnny Gargano in Monday Night Raw, or at least at Johnny Wrestling. He went against Chad Gable. Kind of for me, it's a good match just because both of them are the same size, the same physique. They have build same build, and the match was actually very enjoyable. So Johnny Gargano gets the win because it's his debut, the final beat. That was a cool move that he has. So Johnny Gargano, I think Austin Theory might be the first feud, but what do you do with him, Paul?
Yeah, Johnny Gargano is one of those things where, you would think a guy like him, okay, if you're going to do any title with him right away, you would say, oh, mid-card title, right? That would be but that's on Bobby Lashley. No way in hell is he beating Lashley. It's just, they're both baby faces. It's not set up like that. And Lashley, look at the guy. People would boo that out of the building, and they love Gargano. So nobody would want to see that or believe it. It's hard to say what you do with him. I think maybe you just, use him, get him wins. To me, I think the ultimate story is him and Tommaso Ciampa. Get them as a tag team. They were the most over. I know people love Johnny when he, was a singles run as a champion and even just in the hunt. But man, them as DIY, that to me, that was the most over. That was the most magical. We love these guys. They're great. This is what really got people chanting NXT, those great tag team matches. Them and FTR, them and the Authors of Pain. Everybody, great match. Authors of Pain might come back. I don't know what they're doing, but
they might, like you said.
Triple H said expect
Triple
names.
H said that he's going to bring a lot of names that people don't even think about.
Maybe we said it first, but no. To me, that's what you do. You get him back with Tommaso Ciampa because what's Ciampa doing? He's hanging around with The Miz. That's not going to last forever.
That's not good. He got his name back. Tommaso Ciampa, at least.
Hey, it was a way to get him on Monday Night Raw, and it was under Vince McMahon. And like we said, Triple H ain't going to just rip that away right away. He is going to do it organically through a storyline, and hopefully that involves Johnny Gargano.
Exactly. So, this is going to be cool and good match, good debut for Johnny. Vince Russo hates the guy. I don't know, corny. I think he hates him too. He doesn't look like a wrestler. So, he's skinny. He sucks. He should just be playing the simulations in the game so they can do the moves and all of that. But you know what? Rebel Heart, Johnny Gargano is in Monday Night Raw. Hopefully good feuds. I feel that maybe the United States Championship maybe at some point, or I don't know the Heavyweight Championship quite yet, but that's cool. Now that I just mentioned the United States Championship, this was a good promo by Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley, because Seth says, I'm the number one man on Monday Night Raw. And then Bobby shows up, looking good, style, a suit, and then the title, and says, no, whoa. I'm the main guy here, It's well, what about, let's put the title on the line and let's figure out who the number one man on Monday Night Raw is. So this is going to be a great match. Paul, are we waiting for a title switch here or no? Will you put the title on Seth freaking Rollins?
No, because what are we, 3 weeks out from the pay-per-view? No, this is going to end in a screwy finish. This is going to be a DQ or a count out or some kind of finish that's not, the title's not changing hands. You're going to book this on the pay-per-view. There's no way. Maybe you do the title change at the pay-per-view, but then, but then to me, then Lashley has to almost go on to Roman Reigns. And we're going to talk about what Roman Reigns is doing in a little bit. Maybe he'll already be done with that feud by then. I don't know. But, it's tough to say. But I think no matter what, Lashley's got to also move forward, but so does Seth. Both guys got to be over coming out of this feud. You can't have one guy drop down to the shits and one guy get elevated.
I feel that they need a big match. They need big names, because what are the things that we're missing in Monday Night Raw, Paul? Main belt, right? There's not an official number one champion. So you got to use the United States champion as the crutch. And Triple H said that he's going to do his best to make that title look important again. Give him all the legitimacy. Make him look like the thing that people want to go for. So that's, I feel that this feud, exactly right here, we have the picture. This can be the catapult, the catalyst of like a brand new feud, a brand new opportunity for the United States Championship. Because when was this title meaningful? When was the last time? Let's remember. Maybe when John Cena defended it. Maybe, that will be like the last time. But like after that,
you would have to think, because nobody. Samoa Joe, Nakamura, those are some notable last champions that held it. You kind of think, okay, nobody really, R-Truth, Rey Mysterio, nobody. It's like you think, but none of those titles, AJ Styles, but none of those meant anything.
No, absolutely. Like you said, that doesn't mean like a lot if the feud doesn't make sense, and that's the thing that like the title like has felt really weak for years.
And here's a guy who I said, Seth Rollins, man. Okay, he's been so legit. He's been a guy who should be going after Roman Reigns. Now you're going after Bobby Lashley. So what does that say to me? That somebody of Seth Rollins' caliber going after a belt like this, man, that belt must mean something. Okay, you know what I mean. So like you said, Triple H is elevating the belt, and he's doing the right thing.
Exactly, that was the thing that he's trying to do. So also, Paul, we got to see this. This is going to be next week. Kevin Owens under Triple H. Supposedly, there's big plans for him. He's going to go back to his same character. He destroyed Ezekiel. And breaking news: Ezekiel is not part of the main roster anymore. So probably like Elias is going to come back and be his regular self, because Ezekiel, it was more like a Vince McMahon thing. So now he's gone. So like now you can see Kevin Owens going first in theory. This is going to be a good feud. And if we get a good version of Kevin Owens, remember last year, Paul, when he was feuding with Roman, how good he looked, how important he looked, and also like the good promo that he had. Kevin Owens can be a, vital figure for Monday Night Raw here.
Oh, yeah. We saw the match he had with Austin Theory before, like the big bump into the ring steps and everything. Kevin, like whacked his head really good, or at least he sold it like he did. And, this is a good little feud. Like we've seen Austin Theory, he kind of looked like a joke, when he goes to cash in and he gets either knocked out, by Lesnar or knocked out by Tyson Fury or whoever. But, hey, Austin Theory, he's being used on TV. He's feuding with main event guys. You don't need to push him to the main. He don't need to be the world champion at 20 or 21, 22. Randy Orton. No, he don't need to be that. He can wait a little bit. You have plenty of other guys who are more deserving, I think. So let Austin Theory, let him be where he is right now. He's still feuding with good main event guys, and I think this is good for him, and it's good for Monday Night Raw.
Like you said, hold on into the briefcase till there's an opportunity. I don't think he's gonna win. I don't see this guy.
You know what? Let him cash in. Let him cash in.
Roman Reigns supposedly they have like a big thing, backstage. The creative is, do we make him drop one of the belts, or there's actually sources that are saying that he will lose the belt all the way to WrestleMania 39. So what do you do with the Money in the Bank briefcase? Just hold on to it.
I would say this is what you do. Maybe you go Austin Theory. You know what? Screw it. I've been cashing in or attempting to cash in and getting, made to look like a fool so many times. I'm just going to cash in on Bobby Lashley. Maybe Seth Rollins hits a big stomp and, Lashley hits a move and both guys are selling it that they're knocked out, and he cashes in and he becomes U.S. champ. It don't need to be on the world title. Then he can have a successful cash in. He has the #1 title on Monday Night Raw. They go with Roman Reigns still holding the belts till WrestleMania. Then at least he looks good, and there's a way out and stuff. So there's lots of ways you can play with the briefcase. Everybody always thinks down the one path. Oh, it has to be the World Heavyweight Championship.
No, exactly. So like there's other ways that you can do it. There's other way, and maybe like if like you said, kick out, but I just don't know, like cashing in for the for the United States Championship title he already had. Maybe do something different. Maybe that the Intercontinental Championship. Or again, hold on to it. Remember, like how like Seth hold it for like a whole year. Do that. Just keep playing with it. Like every time that he comes out.
But the only thing I'm gonna, but just to go back to my previous statement, even in a calendar year from now, I don't think he's gonna ever be World Heavyweight Champion. So that no matter what, if he cashes in, it's on that championship, it's going to be a failed cash in.
Exactly.
He's not going to win. So it's like, if you want to get him over, have him cash in on a belt, he's going to win. That's just my whole thing.
Oh, no, yeah, that's something even better. So, Paul, now let's talk about this, because this is pretty much the main thing of this show, Monday Night Raw, is, Edge went against Dominic Mysterio. Good match. Dominic is the new member of Judgment Day. They're trying to sell this guy as much as they can. And now, like with the hell of Judgment Day, like he's all best friends with Rhea Ripley, all of that. but like Rey Mysterio
best
interfere at the end, when Edge was about to hit the spear and all of that, and then Finn Balor like injures Edge. Why? Because Edge is going to be written off TV. So what they are thinking about this feud? Feel for now they're trying to make Judgment Day feel great, feel actually like unit. So it's not bad for me. It's actually that they're doing the right steps to get these guys over.
Do we know, is Edge hurt or anything, or is he just taking a break? Or what's
No. Edge is just going to take a break. Edge is going to take a break, and that's that's what they're going to do.
The only thing it maybe now it sells the angle that Edge is, quote unquote, he's written off TV, but he's hurt storyline, because the beatdown and everything, and now it maybe makes Rey Mysterio feel bad for not letting Edge win the match, because Edge even said, Dominic, don't fight him, don't do it, mijo. He, when Edge gets in that dark place, he can't get out of it, and he's ruthless in the ring. Don't do it. Dominic didn't even look at him. He no-sold him, and it was a good match, like you said. And now this adds more fuel, more storyline, because Rey is so good in this sympathetic role.
Yes.
Like if the roles were reversed and Rey turned heel and it was Dominic going against his evil dad, this storyline would absolutely suck. But this is so much better because Rey is so good.
It's going to be a good thing for like Rey, and now Dominic finally was able to split up from the tag team that they had. So that's a great thing. I feel that like that's what they need to do. And it's important just to cut Edge a little bit off TV. Why? Because really this feud doesn't complement Edge a lot. He's just like he needs to go for titles. He has one more year. Let him have good matches, like dream matches, and then just take him out of TV. And also with this, you're selling these guys. You're making them look even better. Finn Balor looks great finally. Damian Priest, same thing. Rhea Ripley, being the only girl here, and now Dominic, the relationship with her. This is just good. So like you said, Paul, now let me just change because we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite, and for that we got to just change all the setup that we have going on. For all of you family, don't forget to subscribe, to also comment, let us know what you guys feel about this. And now we're just gonna let's talk about the AEW Dynamite. Not a lot of news, but we're gonna have finally the main event, and the main event is gonna be Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. So what do you think about this AEW Dynamite, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we saw the results. If you didn't from Rampage, you saw who got it was Sammy Guevara and Jon Moxley. That's what started the show, and that wasn't bad, but it's like, really, to me, you could have played off the story. Darby Allin and Jon Moxley, they had a match before, that was good. I think when Moxley was the champ, I think he went against him, or they just had a match, but you could have built off that. This is their second singles match, and it would have been a good thing there, where you saw Sammy Guevara. It looked like he was wearing a pair of Ty Connie's panties, coming out there. But or Ty Mello, whatever her name is now. But I mean, they had a pretty good match. But of course, you knew Moxley was gonna win. And even if you wanted to do a babyface versus heel in the final of this thing, it wasn't going to be Sammy Guevara, because nobody was going to want to see him.
Yeah, no, you're not going to put Sammy Guevara in there. No.
Yeah, so
main caliber guys, and Sammy's not.
And then you thought, oh man, is it going to be the first two champions? Is it going to be Jericho, Moxley? What's going on here? And thankfully that wasn't the case. And this match was good. There was a couple times where I really did think, oh man, what are they going to do? But Jericho taps out. So good match. Like we said, Dynamite it's doing some things right, but is it too little, too late? And do people care? Or are they just watching? It's almost like, I'll use the analogy. I don't know how familiar you are with NASCAR, like racing.
Yes.
Do you watch NASCAR to watch the cars go in a circle, or do you watch it to hopefully see people get in a crash and, a big explosion?
It's like, do you have different reasons why you watch the show?
It's like, do you watch hockey for hockey, or do you watch hockey to see the guys get in fights? It's like, why are people watching AEW right now? Are they watching it because they actually like it and they care? Or are they watching it because they want to see, when's the next blow up going to happen? When's the next backstage fight? They watch it
because who's going to see them fail?
Yeah, exactly. When's the next bullshit going to happen? So, things are on the right track. And
so you said good match here, but Danielson needed to win, because we're going to see this, like you said, here, and the Grand Slam Tournament of Champions. So we're going to see this at the Arthur Ashe Stadium, that, by the way, is not even sold out. A lot of reports are coming out that is nearly close to being sold out. And but this was cool. Shake hands. Remember, they had a great match like a year ago and All Out, I think it was, when they had that match with Bloody and everything that ended up being a draw. But I think this is the time for Bryan Danielson. This is his moment to finally be crowned as the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, because if you do Jon Moxley again, to me, you're messing that up even more.
Yeah, and they promoted some stuff with the Acclaimed as well, and I'm excited for them. And
this is also like the Fatal 4-Way. I think Toni Storm is going to retain. Serena Deeb is great. Athena, and Britt Baker is pretty much the only woman that resembles AEW or screams AEW. Everybody else is just from WWE, and like you said, we're going to see the Swerve in Our Glory, the Acclaim. Here, like, are you thinking the Acclaim, or like we're going to see still Swerve in Our Glory?
I think at this point the people want the Acclaimed to win so bad, and with everything going on, as much people are in disarray and not trusting this company, you almost have to just put the belts on the Acclaim. It's like giving them a treat. Like, okay, let's at least do something that the fans want to see, even if it's not in Tony Khan's great booking plan. So, yeah, I think you got to do that. In the women's division, I mean, it's such a mess. You have Athena and Toni Storm being friends and partners. Oh, I got your back. I'll help you out, this and that. Now you're in a fatal 4-way match against her. What sense does that even make? So it's so the women's, everything is a mess. But until
there's been a lot of opportunities that have been wasted.
Until he hires a booker and somebody to help him. But I think at this point, they're just kind of, everything is an autopilot. They're just whatever, because they're worrying about everything going on backstage. Or is it people being sued? Is there lawsuits? What's going on?
Yes.
So that's what I think they're worried about.
That's what we're going to see, Dynamite. There's a lot. Andrade also, like, they ask him if he's going to do the back fist anymore. They had a clip of him talking about how the match with Johnny Gargano. He says, so I'm not able to do it. They don't let me. So I guess some moves that he has.
Remember, we even said in WWE when he was on main roster, some of them back, we're like, man, he laid them in there.
Those were the things that made Andrade special.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's potatoing guys, dislocating jaws and breaking that don't fly.
Exactly. So it doesn't make. I mean, Andrade is another guy that is completely missed opportunity. We're going to see also Orange Cassidy going against Pac. Orange Cassidy posed attack Pac in one of the segments. Here Pac is a good wrestler, but again, I don't know if he's the lack of charisma that he has, because clearly there's a little bit of a problem there, or that he's never been main event.
Yeah, he doesn't connect to the people in a way to get over. Like in the matches, he'll do a move and people go, "Ooh, wow!" Like, man, that was impressive. But he doesn't come out there and cut that promo like CM Punk did, or like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, or even a Jon Moxley. Whoever, where the people are like, "Man, I really feel it." He doesn't do that, and he's holding a belt that, I'm sorry, means absolutely shit all of nothing. Orange Cassidy attacks him. Like, I'm supposed to believe this loser is anybody important either. And this whole thing sucks, and it's again, like we said, there's some stuff that's good.
They don't sell it good.
A lot of stuff that's not. So
yeah, it is true. But another great thing about this Dynamite is this guy MJF, because the promos that he keeps getting, and he keeps taunting CM Punk, he keeps taunting everybody. Now it's Jon Moxley. So I'm thinking that whoever wins, either Danielson or Moxley, right here is the main feud. Right here is with this guy, and make this guy champion. That's the thing, because this guy is going to make Dynamite headlines every single time he speaks. Bryan Danielson is not able to do that, but this guy is.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who he's 100% lives in his gimmick. He's over. The people love to hate him, and they, hate that they love him, or I don't know, but he's great. And yeah, he even said, I'm not dirtying my hands in this tournament. Whoever wins, I'm coming after him. And when you saw Moxley come out for him, last week, they had that stare down, and that was one of those things that was just the top babyface in the company right now and the top heel, besides, the Elite and CM Punk. But I mean, this is good. And like we said, there's some good pieces here. And then there's other stuff that you see on the show and you go, why am I even seeing this? Yeah, like you said, he cut the promo, and Stokely Hathaway comes out, and he has all the guys. He's W. Morrissey. That was such an awkward thing. I love you, man. And Morrissey no-sells it because he's a tough guy. And he's like, I love you, man. And a third time, didn't you hear me say I love you, man? Morrissey looks at him. Yeah, I heard you. Like, dude, shut up. Cut your fucking promo, be legit, and move on. Like, you make this guy, like what is this, Barney? I love you, you love me. We're a happy family. What
is that what it is?
This is. I was like, what? I mean, MJF is probably like, oh, why do you need to have MJF in groups?
Yep.
None of those guys. If it was MJF and the Guns, I would go okay, because at least they have talent. They have name recognition from Billy Gunn, and they're younger than him, so they can be his stooges. But you bring in these other guys and all these other pieces. To me, it doesn't build MJF up. I don't want to say it brings him down, because MJF is so good, but it doesn't do anything to make him better. It just kind of muddies him. It muddies the water. So I don't know.
Yeah, no. It's not something good. And like you said, MJF, it doesn't feel like special because he has guys. You know what I mean? He has guys like he should be on his own. That's all of the thing. MJF just needs to be on his own.
The Pinnacle was a
look,
a better
everything.
group.
Just let the guy be. I mean, he's engaged to be married. So congratulations to MJF. You know, like the girl that he kissed like a year ago turned out to be his real girlfriend. That's cool. You know, congratulations for MJF. But other than that, nothing else feels special or great on, you know, AEW Dynamite. I mean, this show actually, for like the viewership, actually was the best show throughout these all like 3 months, because it was like 1.5 million. But like you said, it's probably because people are seeing what's going to happen with Omega, what's going to happen with the Bucks, what's going to happen with Punk. No mention of anything on these guys. There's been reports, Paul, that like the Young Bucks are sending people to kind of like test the waters on WWE. I do not see the Young Bucks in WWE just because tag team is not the WWE specialties, you know.
And Triple H likes it more. You know, we saw a fatal 4-way tag match to close SmackDown. We're going to talk about in a little bit. You know, we've seen a lot of tag matches featured. We've seen a lot of tag matches featured. So Triple H likes it a hell of a lot more than Vince McMahon does. But he's not going to bring these guys in because of, you know, all the drama that they have. All the heat that they have. There's probably only a small handful of guys that actually like them and want to work with them. And I'll give you one guess. It said they didn't reach out to anybody, because remember Tony, the Mega, whatever her last name is, she has a weird name, but her first name is Mega something, Tony Khan's second in command. She put out that statement, oh, no tampering by WWE or we'll sue, or whatever the hell she said. But talent can talk to talent. That's not illegal. You know, wrestlers can text wrestlers. That's not illegal or nothing. So they said they reached out to somebody in WWE. I'll give you one guess. Who do you think that probably was? Out of all the people there, who is their friend who always would say, "Oh, I'll just go to All Elite Wrestling," and then no, Cody hates them.
Oh, then the New Day? No,
come on. You know, you're dropping.
Come on.
Kevin Owens.
Oh, okay.
You remember the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla over the Mount Rushmore and Adam? Yeah. You know, they were all good friends. Kevin Owens said he was going to go over there, and I'm almost positive they probably reached out to Kevin Owens, and he's probably says, "Oh yeah, you know, no, they know
a little better right now."
Like, oh no, they're not gonna, because they probably said, "Hey, Kevin, you know, will WWE hire us?" And he's probably like, "No." Like, no.
At this point, I don't think so. But like,
and their contracts don't expire until the end of 2024.
Yeah,
or beginning of 2024. So you have a whole year yet. So
it will be. I mean, you never know what can happen. But at this point, I don't see the Young Bucks and also creating any effect on WWE. I'm sorry, but the WWE is way above what like the Young Bucks and their fandom and the group of like people, the fanatics and everything. I just don't see the Young Bucks.
And they're old. They're not young guys either. I think they're in their early 40s maybe. So they're not young guys either, and they have a lot of back issues. You know, they've had back surgeries, multiple surgeries and stuff. So no, you're not going to want them, especially they have so many NXT and that whatever that other program that they have that gets people ready. You know,
like the Progress people. And all of that. Yeah, they have NXT and all of that. FAW or something, like they have like, you know, like the developmental, like you said, and now that they have so much talent also from NXT Europe, you know, pretty deadly. They have all this talent that the Young Bucks, I don't see them like creating any effect, at least, you know, for me. And like the audience in WWE, oh yeah, the Young Bucks, when the Young Bucks have trashed WWE so many times also. It's not like Cody, because Cody had a past.
And also, we've seen it now, the numbers from the Young Bucks, they have a small audience because when they're in the main event and people tune out and some people stay to watch and some people don't. What did you see when those people stayed to watch the main event? 500,000 people you saw. So that's their entire audience. That's their entire fandom.
Exactly.
That's what we'll follow them. That's not a needle mover. That's not a
exactly. Yeah, you said it the best. There's not a needle mover. So family, again, comment, let us know what you guys feel. This is the AEW part. I feel that, again, the show, like you said, we need to know what's going to happen with CM Punk. At least for me, the main event is going to be really cool. Jon Moxley one more time with Bryan Danielson, and I hope this is the main moment for. I'm not a big fan of Danielson, but at least he deserves it. It is time to at least switch things around. Let's start all over again, and now let's move. Let's start going this side. So that is really cool. So before we close that poll, we gotta change again. We're gonna be talking about SmackDown. That's why you guys are gonna allow me to just get the the stuff for a SmackDown. But Paul, did you like this week of SmackDown? Because a lot of news when it comes to what is gonna be Crown Jewel and what is gonna be Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I thought this episode of SmackDown was pretty good. They built off some of the stuff that Monday Night Raw did, we'll talk about here with Damage Control, and the big news with Logan Paul. If you heard, Roman Reigns was on his podcast and stuff, and that also opened the show. So hey, lots of good stuff here on SmackDown. So again,
let's start talking about it.
You
said, main thing, Logan Paul, Paul Heyman, they had a big promo right there. Great
Paul,
promo by
Paul
both of them.
Paul.
And Logan Paul has said, like we said, I want to fight Roman Reigns. I don't know if he's the right candidate, but it's okay, if they're gonna keep losing, why not use a guy that has momentum, has recognition, has name value, the social media, everybody knows who Logan Paul is. Kids that don't even tune in for professional wrestling, they I've been many times, I've been hearing Juan, hey, the thing that you watch, yeah, wrestling, thank you guys, the thing that you watch, Logan Paul was in it, I want to tune in. So that's the main reason. They had a good promo.
Yes.
The guy wants to make history in wrestling, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, and Paul Heyman was so good. He came out here and he was like, yes, you fought Floyd Mayweather and that was impressive, and but Floyd Mayweather, he doesn't even come up to my crotch, and and then Logan Paul interrupts him. He's like, well, what are you trying to get at here? And he's just like, well, okay, and your brother, when he's going to get knocked out in one punch, when he fights. I forget which MMA fighter his brother Jake Paul is going to have a fight against. He's like, but no disrespect. So, Heyman is so good here. And then he said some line like, if your brother didn't have balls, or if your sister had balls, he'd be your brother, or some line like that. He threw at him. It was great. Heyman is, like I said, so good on the mic. Good to see him back. You saw, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and the honorary Uso, Sami Zayn. This was great.
Exactly.
And like you said, this whole thing, Sami Zayn was like, no, I'll take care of this. Paul, get out of the ring, because him and Logan Paul and Sami Zayn had past interactions. So he's like, hey, Logan Paul, hey, buddy, remember me? What's up? Logan Paul knocks him out. Then the Usos come in the ring. They chase him away. And, I just got to agree with everything you said earlier. They're doing this for the Triple H is smart. He goes, okay, Logan Paul knows he's not going to win the belt, and everybody knows he's not going to win the belt, except his millions and millions of fans that aren't smart to the business and don't know that this is all a work, or don't even, whatever. Or maybe if they know it's fake, about it. Yeah, they might be like, wrestling is fake, so yeah, maybe Logan Paul will win. Yeah, let's watch it, because they don't know how all this works. They don't know that there's no way that they would drop the belt to him, because it wouldn't make sense. It would make Roman look weak, because they might not even know who Roman Reigns is. They might be like, what? Who cares? So it's going to bring a lot of eyes, a lot of new people to watch it. And the goal is hopefully some of them are interested enough that they stick around, subscribe to Peacock, start watching on USA Network, every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. So, this
absolutely
is good.
So that's the main intention.
Yeah,
that's the main intention. And like you said, this was at least good.
And it holds it over.
There's going to be a press conference at 12:30 tomorrow, and it's just going to announce, pretty much that the match is going to go.
Yeah, and it Roman holds Reigns the feuds over.
For the Undisputed Champion.
Yeah. Sorry. But then the good thing about this too is for everybody else, because like you said, but why Logan Paul? If you're like, well, we don't care about his social media influence. What about Drew? What about Karrion? What about Seth Rollins? What about all these other guys? It just holds all them over. It just holds this is just killing time, because this isn't going to be a long feud. This might be signed for Extreme Rules, and this might be over.
No, Paul, right here, Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel. Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so Crown
Jewel. Because remember, Roman is not going to be part of Extreme Rules. This is confirmed by us. Our sources.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes.
They told Jean Paul Roman Reigns will not be in Extreme Rules. They're saying that the main event is going to be what we're talking about just a little bit. It's going to be involving this guy, and it's going to be involving this other guy. So that might be the main event. But like now we're in the Logan Paul and Roman Reigns. This is going to be a signing tomorrow. Like you said, why having all these wrestlers keep losing to Roman? Because the idea is for him to retain for the longest time. Let's use guys that like is expected from them to lose. They're going to have a good match. Maybe Roman is, oh yeah, we have news on this, Paul. Do you agree that like this guy that is going to come back next week is the number one wrestler in the world? Because that's according to the PW Wrestling, he is.
I mean, I would say that's a loaded question. I would say yes. The short answer, yes. But it's a loaded question because when you say what's a number one wrestler, are you the best worker? Bell to bell, wrist locks and holds, catch can, all that. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean, are you the best promo? Or you mean, are you the best ratings draw? Do you draw the most people to watch your segment each? What is the number one wrestler? He's the longest reigning champion. He's undefeated. He fucking looks like a wrestler. He's over 6 feet tall. He's jacked. He can cut a great promo. He's good in the ring. He can wrestle. He can do a big strongman match. He can sell for you. He has the facial expressions when he's like, screw this, I'm done. And he's dipping through the ropes, or when he's great. There's nothing Roman Reigns can't do. And as a heel, like we said, he's awesome. Is his act running a little long? Maybe it is, but I think it's just modern wrestling. We're not used to it. What about like when Hogan had the title run, or San Martino, or Ric Flair, or Harley Race, Terry Funk, Jack Briscoe, all these guys who had title reigns for
Bob Backlund. They had it for years.
For years, all these people. So it's just one of those things I think we're not used to. But no, my short answer, yeah, Roman Reigns is the number one. You had guys like Hangman Adam Page as number 4. Come on, give me a break.
That's it. And you see, like, that's the one thing that we can mention. He has no contendership. Who can challenge Roman Reigns as being the best wrestler in the world? Last year, maybe Kenny Omega. Remember the good run with Omega, but now...
Is Kazuchika Okada number 2? I don't even know what Okada did this year.
And that's exactly. So Okada is always in the conversation, but does it translate? Does it go past, the Japan fans? And we're not talking trash about them. I'm absolutely not. Great fans. We have a lot of people that follow us that we want to say hi. That like have been there for us. Danny or Barkley is one of them. So I want to say hi to him. But Kazuchika Okada is just inside Japan. I mean, the match that he had in for the Forbidden Door, that was cool. But did we hear from the guy back? No. So
the one thing I agree with you. And the one thing I'll say is WWE is a global company. Every person in every country knows WWE. New Japan is not global.
Yes.
99% of the people that watch New Japan are from Japan. It's not global. It has almost zero presence here in America. So that's why nobody knows who
it doesn't matter.
Is.
Access TV has the show back. Nobody really cares about. They have 2 shows even on Access TV. They still have like the deal with Roku.
People don't even watch Impact in this country. You think they're gonna watch New Japan? Come on.
Exactly. Like last week for Impact, because we give you news about everything. 64,000 views. The worst thing they could have done, and this because again, you used to watch this. It was when they were broadcasting on Twitch. That was easy. Now they have the fans. A lot of people tune in just to like watch because the game and everything. They switched the dynamic, completely ruined it. But like you said, Kazuchika, CM Punk number 3. Like a lot of people are saying, like I saw in a tweet, we chanted your name for 7 long years, and you couldn't even hold the bell for 6 days. I feel robbed. The guy, and that's the thing. The guy is gonna keep getting injured every single time. He's old,
And I mean, the only thing I'll say to that is when he was working matches with guys that he wanted to, like Darby Allin, Powerhouse Hobbs, all them, he was legit. And then he works like a match with Moxley. So
done.
Yes.
Done. So like a match with Paige. So every time. So I mean, MJF, you gotta like give him props to MJF because the matches were even more
they didn't
brutal.
get hurt.
Yeah, he didn't get injured. Yeah, he didn't get injured. So we gotta mention that. But moving along, like I said, Roman Reigns. As much as I don't like the guy, I have to admit that like #1 wrestler in the world, just because again, like you said, longest.
And also the thing is, I'll say, okay, if to anybody who says he's not #1, tell me who is #1.
Yeah, there's no, again, I told you this. There's no guy that can go against Roman Reigns. No guy can go against Roman Reigns. I mean, everybody say John Moxley. No. A lot of people, again, John Moxley doesn't move like the needle, like Roman does. I'm sorry, but that's the I mean, the act is presented better because Moxley's by himself. He's more rustic, more like, whatever, GCW, yeah, all of that. Roman, Bloodline, the Usos, Paul Heyman. There's a lot of more in the presentation of the champion. And Seth Rollins, he's awesome and he puts great matches. But again, if he doesn't have the goal, he can be like #5. But he's been #1, I think, in the previous years. So, Paul, let's talk about great promo by Karrion Kross. Scarlett, the guy keeps like taunting at Drew McIntyre having a match. This is good, but again, I think, is going to main event Extreme Rules, and this is going to be for #1 contender for Roman, because I think Karrion might be challenging at Survivor Series.
Yeah, and Karrion, it's this was a great promo by him, and we saw the rebuttal retaliation from Drew later on. Good promo by him too, and it's good to see these guys presented legit, like we said, coming out of the last pay-per-view. We said, okay, this is going to be the next feud for Drew, the Clash at the Castle. We said, okay, this is going to be the next thing, and it's good. And I would almost say, man, it's really tough. Do you almost have Drew lose here, and then Drew kind of, maybe does he tell some kind of big comeback story, like I said, win a chamber, or win, I don't want to say win the Royal Rumble again, but is he the one to dethrone, Roman, or is his time passed and he's got to put over Karrion? Because, man, it's kind of tough because both of these guys are like, they should both be going. They should both be going after
the one, Paul.
Yeah, so like somebody's got to lose. So I mean, this is going to be a hell of a thing, or is it going to be something else too, like Extreme Rules? Do they just beat the hell out of each other and do both guys lay there for the 10 count, and the ref goes, it's 10, both, nobody gets up, and it's over?
It's hard to book it like that, but you need to. Just because, hey, like you said, like, what is the best way to put a guy over? You said it last week in the video. You said you need to put him with a top guy. And in the case of Drew, I mean, he was champion before. I thought that he was dethroned Roman, Clash of the Castle. You're going to see the video. It's right there in the archive. So please, right there, give it a thumbs up and everything.
So over, and even though that was a different fan base, that was a different fan base, and that was his people, that energy, I feel, still followed him here back to the US. I feel like he's still over, to that magnitude. He's still riding that high. So for him to just lose to Karrion Kross, it's just,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's good for Karrion, but then it sucks for Drew. So
it does, but like they both have like good War Awards. It's gonna be a good match. I feel that like that's gonna, again, main event Extreme Rules at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So there you go. You have it right here from Robreak. Also, like the new tag champions, we mentioned that on the Monday Night Raw review right there. Like, Io Shirai or Io Sky. There you go. I'm gonna keep saying Shirai, Dakota Kai, Bayley. Bayley had a match with Raquel Rodriguez. It was a good match. Bayley says, needs matches. Why the girl, was injured, was out for such a long time. She needs to go back in the swing of things. Raquel is a good wrestler. She's probably really happy that Braun Strowman, her boyfriend, is back in the roster. Bayley wins, and then the post attack from like the champs, and Raquel is actually aligning herself, not with Aaliyah anymore. Now is with Shotzi Blackheart. We'll see. I mean, girls from NXT against girls from everything is NXT here.
Well, I think they said Aaliyah. Aaliyah is hurt, I believe, or maybe it's storyline. Kayfabe hurt. To me, this is all just setting up six woman tag when Aaliyah inevitably comes back. You're going to do that storyline. At least that's what I think they're going to do, unless I missed something. And she did kick Aaliyah to the curb, but I believe that they did say that they injured her. I think Bayley said that line in her promo. Bayley cut a good promo because she said, hey, like, guess who's back again? Like Shady's back, tell a friend. But, no, she's like, she's like, I came back. And they said, what we're going to do? We took over. She's like, we didn't just come back here and say, oh, we're the best and we're going to win and then not do it. She's like, no, we actually did what we said, because we're not bullshit, so we won. And then Raquel came out, and Raquel had the attitude. She didn't come out smiling, looking like a cover girl model, all beautiful. She came out like a badass, ready to fight. So, okay, again, Triple H's influence taking back over. Raquel, be what made you over the most. Be what made you, over with the fans. And that was being a badass. So she comes out, like you said, her and Bayley, good match. Bayley wins, right choice, because Bayley has all this momentum. I think, and that's good. You got to keep riding that momentum. Bayley, to me, besides Bianca, I would say Bayley's your number one woman. Okay, Ronda, you could make an argument for, but you have no Becky. You don't have a Charlotte. Sasha, to me, done. Sasha, to me, done, regardless, done. But Bayley, to me, is your number one woman besides Bianca, because we saw a promo with, but then, to finish up on this, like I said, Shotzi Blackheart, again, you're doing something with her because she was heel, then she wasn't on TV for a while, and Vince and them, they didn't know what to do with her, and it was awful. Now, okay, she's babyface again, which is good, because to me, she's a great babyface because the crowd loves to cheer her, and I think she loves being cheered. So, you put her with Raquel and eventually 6-woman tag. So, this is all right, but I think Damage Control has to win in the end.
No, yeah, exactly. No, again, you got to keep pushing Damage Control. That's the new initiative. That is the trio that is supposed to be the main trio in pro wrestling, in the whole WWE. And that's why they immerse them in the plans for this week's SmackDown. So there you go. This is good. This is a good promo by Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan. And it's going to be an Extreme Rules match. Here, I feel, if Ronda Rousey doesn't win, then, what do you do, though? Because Liv, I guess she had a few months as champion, legit, all good. But, again, Ronda has to get the win, and then Charlotte probably will come back. I can already see that. Charlotte will be the one returning, and again, you resume that feud with Ronda Rousey. Thank you, Liv. You've been good. We always remember you as champion like Carmella once was, but that's all it is.
Liv cuts a promo to me like Dominic Mysterio did, where it's like she's trying her hardest to remember it. So she's focusing on remembering it and saying it correctly instead of, putting any real emotion into it. She's like, you got to remember, Ronda, I'm the only woman to beat you twice. Really? That's the emotion it sounds like she's terrified. Like she's like scared and waiting for any moment for Ronda to stand up and snap her arm like a twig. She doesn't sound like she's confident at all. Ronda and she's like, I'm going to challenge you to a match at Extreme Rules. An Extreme Rules match. Ronda looks at her just like, is like, hey, this dumb bitch. And she's like, okay, your funeral.
Sure,
okay. Okay.
Sure,
so, I think Ronda has to win. Hey, this is no offense against Liv. I think she's a great underdog babyface. Again, the crowd loves to cheer her. Look at her. How could you boo her? But it's one of those things where she's just, I don't think, ready for that main event level. This was a test. It was okay. Here was your run. Now we can look back at the footage. Everybody likes to always do the football comparisons. Let's look back at the tape. This is what you did right. This is what you did wrong. Next time you get a shot with the belt, got to make sure you improve on this.
Exactly. So, this is going to be good for what we, at least, I'm looking forward to that just because, again, it's the first Extreme Rules under Triple H. Maybe a little bit of, I don't want to say blood in between the women or anything like that, but at least, a little bit more action, more intensity, a little more creativity when it comes to the match and what they use, the toys and everything. That will be something that I'm really hoping to see at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Paul, we got a match and this is cool because again, the NXT titles are going to be defended on regular WWE TV. So this is new for us and great. Solo Sikoa, brand new, North American champion. He just got the title this week, going against Carmelo Hayes and going against Madcap Moss. A lot of people, you like Madcap, meaning, the new Madcap that we've seen and better character. I think he has a lot of opportunity. This match was good, but in the end, with the help of the Usos and Cell Cole Uso, Sammy, they got the win. So, good stuff, right?
Yeah, Madcap, he's a good baby face, mid-card baby face in this role. But no, Solo Sikoa, it was great. He got the big super kick, then the Uranagi or rock bottom for the win. And it's one of those things where now we're going to see, hey, it's the return to the black and gold brand. and Triple H goes, hey, if I'm going to have Toxic Attraction, maybe appear on an episode of Raw or SmackDown, Solo Sikoa is the North American champion, and he's on SmackDown with the Bloodline, from time to time, or pretty much every week. So be it. Acknowledge these shows, that they all coexist. Why not? It's stupid. That's like, using like Marvel, for example, and that would be like Spider-Man not saying that Iron Man's not real. Why? You're in the same universe. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Why? Yeah.
And everybody's why do it? So promotion, why not?
Yeah. So include your, the stuff on your brand. It makes sense, and it gets people engaged. Because they might see a North American champion, where can I see more of Solo Sikoa having these great matches? Oh, I gotta see NXT.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. You're making all three shows feel the same. You're giving them the same importance.
And you know what? You right also... I was just going to quick say, you tease, you have these shows, you tease the NXT here, NXT there. Maybe you're going to do the thing that we all loved, and that was the 3-ways at the Survivor Series. Maybe you can bring that back again. You actually
stole the idea from my head, because that's what I was going to say, Survivor Series with the 3 of them, that is going to be really cool, because that Survivor Series was excellent. That's probably the best Survivor Series in the past 10, 15 years. How good it was when, we had NXT and Adam Cole going against Pete Dunne, all of that stuff. And, Team NXT actually swept the house with like Raw and SmackDown. Yet, we never saw that again. So that was really cool. And like you said, the title being defended makes sense, because now everybody can be on any show, which is good. Keep pulling them around. That is something that, again, more people are going to be tuning in. It just that's what is going to happen. So Paul, now let's talk about what, like you said, like the main event, and that was just like the tag team titles, like number 1 contenders for like the Usos, and we got to see Top Dollar and all, like we got to see
new music Imperium. for Imperium. It wasn't the same old Imperium theme.
It's a little different, yes.
Yeah, I didn't.
The same, but it doesn't go with the number 9 symphony anymore.
I didn't hate it, but it's one of those things where, man, the old theme is just the best. And at least it's on YouTube for me to listen to whenever I want. But the new one's okay. I don't hate it. But this match was okay. The New Day, they're there. I guess they're the longest tenured team. Whatever, they're there. And you had Hit Row. They're not over. I'm sorry. I think that the person who was over with them was Swerve Scott. That's like and
that was the main thing.
That's like late 90. That's like what 97. If you took Shawn Michaels out of DX and you just had like Triple H in China, and you're like, yeah, here's DX, and people are supposed to be who? I don't care. I wanted Shawn. No, that's what Swerve Scott was to these guys. And now that he's not there, it's like, ooh, okay, we don't really care. Ooh, what the heck? So, to me, it was all between. I thought this was Imperium's match to win, and they kind of set it up like that. At the end, they hit the big, European uppercut power bomb move that they hit, but then Pete Dunne came in. That was their
finisher, like you said back in the day on NXT.
Yeah, they came in and they stole the pin, and I'm fine with this, because now, hey, Rich Holland, like we said, it was good. He broke his neck, and I forget who he injured. I think he injured somebody on NXT. Big E. Well, didn't he injure some? No, he got injured on NXT, and then he injured Big E on the main roster. So, all that stuff's unfortunate, but hey, the guy looks like he has raw talent, and look at him. He looks like $1 million. Pete Dunne is awesome. He's finally, even though he's still Butch, I saw some woman in the crowd had a sign that said, I love Butch. So, hey, at least he's getting some love. That's legit. And he's being besides the name, he's being presented better. He looks like Pete Dunne, at least.
Like the way that Pete Dunne used to be.
He's not dressed like a little schoolboy. And I like it how Sheamus only wrestles from time to time. I don't want them to be like the New Day where, it's Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne tonight, and then tomorrow night it's going to be Sheamus and Pete Dunne, and then Sheamus and Ridge Holland. No, don't have it be like he's kind of the manager, because he's older, he's beat up, and he just wrestles from time to time in like a big match, like against a Walter or against somebody like that.
And they were staring down. So like maybe the feud will continue, because that was like we mentioned, we gave the, we said that like that was a 5-star match for Clash at the Castle, and the last time that like the WWE had a 5-star match was with CM Punk and John Cena in 2011. Imagine that. That's how.
And hey, and you got to think too. you know, just from everybody's standpoint, what's going on, you think, okay, maybe if they're going after the Usos, there's two things you could do here. Do you really elevate Sheamus? And does Sheamus maybe have a match with Roman Reigns? Again, doesn't have to be at a pay-per-view. They can main event a SmackDown. You know, you could do something like that. Or do you elevate Solo Sikoa? And does Sheamus go against Solo Sikoa for that belt? And he puts Solo Sikoa over, really putting him over and that belt. You know, there's lots of different ways and different things you could do if you're going to have the Brawling Brutes, you know, bullshit name, but whatever. If you're going to have them feuding with the Bloodline, you know, there's lots of different things you could do, and it's exciting. So I don't mind the win. I mean, Imperium would have been great. Roman and Walter is a money matchup that I hope we see before Roman goes away to Hollywood land, you know, forever. But it's one of those things where that's a feud hopefully we do see as well.
Absolutely. So, family, this is pretty much, you know, like what we've seen of all the shows. The last thing that we're going to mention you is just because, like, NXT is finally, it seems like it's going to go to the black and gold, like the black and gold brand, like we did before. See, like Triple H once again is like, hey, that was my baby. I'm going to make it back the way it was. So, like, see, Grayson Waller, one of the guys that were still pretending black and gold was good. Yeah, it was. That was the only reason that we used to watch NXT. I mean, he's being a heel, makes sense, and all of that. But, like, are you excited? Because it seems that NXT is going to be back to the way it was. They gained the rights of
and if you saw and you saw the views that NXT had last week, I think they had 600 some thousand. This week they were in the 700 some thousands. People might go 700. They were in the 200 some thousand, 300 some thousand when they were really, really bad. Maybe like 3 months ago. It was god awful when AEW was everybody, CM Punk, everybody was loving life. You know, NXT was in the shitter. Now you have all the UK talent. Braun Breaker's on a roll. Mandy Rose, double champ. She's feuding with a Kaylee Ray, and who's being presented better. You know, there's so much good stuff going on that the viewers are going up. People are excited. You're gonna go back to the black and gold. I mean, hey, I think it makes sense. So.
And Paul, you know, we will be covering it because Halloween Havoc is going to be a premium Peacock event. It's going to be on October 22nd, I believe. It's going to be, like you said, Braun Breaker against Tyler Bate and also like JD McDonough, triple threat match. And then Mandy Rose is probably going to go on Alba Fire or KDA. You know, you guys remember from the good old days of the NXT UK. You guys remember? Yeah, make a little bit of memory right there. So, yeah, 2 solid matches. Give me 3 more. We're good. You know, we're good.
Yeah, Solo Sikoa versus somebody. I mean, that would be awesome. You know, maybe you don't want to do Sheamus. Maybe Sheamus is too big of a name. You don't want him to lose twice like that. But whoever, Solo Sikoa versus somebody, I think for that pay-per-view will be good. You know, that's a little far off for them to still be feuding with the Brutes. But whatever. But, you know, lots of good matches you could do. Yeah. So
it's always worth watching now. So that's what we gotta thank to Triple H. It's worth watching. He's just switching everything. He's just tweaking everything that was already loose. And it's like, oh guys, this is gonna be better, better, and better. But what is always good, is always the best, is every single one of you that is watching. Thank you so very much. This is just the review for this week. Don't forget, there's more stuff happening. The only thing that we always ask from every single one of you is just give us a thumbs up and a subscription. You know, that helps us to keep growing, to keep improving, and also give us ideas. Any suggestions, just open up, and the original Rope Break will always deliver. Where can they find us, Paul?
And then, guys, so you don't miss anything, make sure you follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and, of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...